So, in the past, the House was what always was the problem with Republicans. It filled with the most crazies, completely unruly. The Senate, was at least a little more controlled. McConnell, well, being a corporatist who would take away all benefits and harm any and all people to help his corporate benefactors, he sort of at least, tried to do it quietly. He was a bastard and quiet. No, but I mean, the less populist wing that was terrible in a lot of ways, but wasn't at least openly siding with the Russians, siding with Vladimir Putin, as Rand Paul did when he became an errand boy for Donald Trump running over there, and when his former campaign manager, his dad's, was found guilty of funneling Russian money to Trump. Others who went and literally bowed before Putin a year and a half, was it, after he had interfered in our election in 2016 on the 4th of July. I mean, if that's not a way to make them look pathetic, as I think Putin was trying to do.
Vladimir Putin?
Da. Where is bathroom? I George Brett myself on plane.
Did you just call me chicken?
Yes, chicken. Ficré. Sound different in Russia.
I don't know what it is, and there's been numerous other examples, right? Ron Johnson literally seems to be a Russian talking points machine, and our intelligence has said that. And you're getting this from many more places. My state, sadly, 2022, elected one of the worst. This little bearded garden gnome looking troll named JD Vance. This scumbag, sellout, who used to say entirely different things, but all that JD Vance wants is power, and he would kiss Trump's ass. He'd live inside his colon if he had to. Same goes for Vladimir Putin. My guess is he calls Putin in the morning to ask him what he should eat for breakfast and, what kind of underwear he should put on. He's pathetic. And so here, as he tried to block Ukraine from getting its funding, John Fetterman, who has not, let's say, been quiet about his feelings about stupidity, had a few things to say about JD Vance. Let's listen.
And I understand my colleague is coming up after me. And I don't understand where my colleague Vance has about Ukraine as well, too. In fact, he owns, in my opinion, the dumbest thing I've ever heard about Ukraine, where he claims to some effect that he doesn't care what happens in Ukraine. And that's astonishing to me. And I don't understand the motivation to that as well, too. But all I can conclude is that that aligns with what Donald Trump says. And I don't understand why Donald Trump seems to love Putin as well, too. But it's a disgrace if we don't deliver this aid. I voted for it, and we need to deliver that and stand with our allies and stand with democracy.
And if you've noticed, the second issue, of course, is immigration, where the Senate was going to pass a bill. It was negotiated by one of the most conservative senators from Oklahoma, and it was going to be something that finally solved a lot of our issues around immigration. Some of which, by the way, are made up by Republicans, but the serious ones, the ones that would make us have a more consistent and more standard asylum system, and how people who get in the country become citizens, how many we take in, that kind of thing. And of course, Donald Trump threatened them and told them they better block it because he doesn't care about the country. He wants chaos. Chaos helps him get elected. Solving problems helps Joe Biden stay in office. And these guys are, well, I mean, they're traitors. They don't care. So JD Vance, of course, does Donald Trump's bidding. Other Republicans do his bidding. And then they try to attack Democrats for the immigration problems. And this clip here, John Ossoff was having none of their shit. I don't think we've shown anything by Ossoff before, but he is joining that group of young, ass-kicking Democrats that will not abide by Republican lies and will hit back.
I'll be back.
When the Republicans lie about them. Watch this in its entirety. He f***ing smokes them.
No one, and I mean no one, is interested in or takes seriously lectures on border security from Senate Republicans. No one. In one of the most stunning acts of political cowardice in recent American history, a bipartisan border security bill co-authored by a conservative Republican member of this committee was put forward in the U.S. Senate. It would have empowered the federal government to take the fight to the drug cartels who are laying waste to communities across our country with fentanyl. A bipartisan border security bill co-authored by a conservative Republican member of this committee. And it wasn't just voted down by Senate Republicans, it was denied even a debate on the floor of the United States Senate. Because the former president of the United States, and he said this publicly, thought it wasn't in his political interest for the nation to be served. It wasn't in his political interest for a bipartisan border security bill to be enacted by Congress.
Yes, folks, that is how you talk about people who are liars, hypocrites, traitors, who are screwing their own country just for their party's benefit. That's how you talk about them. And that's how you talk about people like JD Vance, which is exactly what John Fetterman did. So again, it's not just House members, although they've done terrifically. It's governors, it's senators, it's Joe Biden, as we were showed in another video, hitting Donald Trump.
I don't know why we're surprised by Trump. How many times does he have to prove we can't be trusted? Trump bragged how proud he was to get rid of Roe v. Wade over. He took credit for it. He said there has to be punishment for women exercising their reproductive freedom. His words, not mine. He described the Dobbs decision as a miracle. Maybe it's coming from that Bible he's trying to sell. Whoa. I almost wanted to buy one just to see what the hell's in it.
The culture of the Democratic Party is changing. We're controlling the narrative. We're making them pay for their betrayal of our country on issues like immigration and Ukraine. We're hitting them hard. We're educating voters about who they truly are and who we are and the fantastic economy we've delivered. You know, jobs records, we've broken, it's been 50 years, 60 years since we had a record. Like the stock market through the roof breaks records. And we're not allowing them to lie and control the narrative anymore that way. And for that, I thank Fetterman, I thank Ossoff, and I thank everybody else in the Democratic Party who's kicking ass.